Hey, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's
Been a
another
while.
couple weeks.
Couple weeks for you. Last week we had Carl Johnson and Jason Bertram, both or Carl, demonologist.
Yep.
His show comes out on the 25th of this week. So if you guys could go check out Carl L. Johnson's podcast, it's going to be a banger. He kind of gave us a sneak peek. So he's going to talk about spontaneous human combustion. That's a thing. It actually happens. He went through a whole spiel.
That's different than that's like the wick effect, like where like the top, like you fall asleep with like a cigarette in your mouth or whatever, and then the ash falls on your clothes and then it burns through your clothes and then it melts the fat.
No, you blow up from the inside out.
What?
Yeah, it's an actual phenomenon. Carl talked. It was the first 20 minutes of last week's show. So if you tuned in last week, you got to hear Carl kind of go on about it.
I was on vacation, so I couldn't make it.
So Carl's show comes out this week. I'm not sure if it's this week. That's going to be the episode, but he has one coming up soon about that. So if you are interested in that, hey, check it out. So as always, this show is brought to you by Lit Beard Company. This is the best goddamn beard company on the planet. Get up there, take a look at that. Fuck razors. Lit Beard Company. They have the classic wax dip bottles. They have the beautiful Wisconsin flavored scents. I threw on Tux tonight, which is my all-time favorite. And it's a close tie, I guess. Nice. Wisco whiskey's really good. Yeah, probably my number 2. Yeah, it's all usable. Great shampoos, great balms. The oils are phenomenal. You can get yourself a comb, and he has like probably the coolest fucking t-shirts out there. Like if you're a beard guy and you want to get your hands on some badass t-shirts, Lit Beard Company is the way to go. Yeah, so we have a lot to get into. We're going to start the show out with a guest, but we all later on we're actually going to talk a little bit of Game of Thrones because I think not Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on. If you are ready to open up this can of worms again, because we started our show.
I'm so excited.
2 years ago when we got the last season of Game of Thrones, and that was the last season of Game of Thrones was absolute
the first 10 episodes. That's pretty much all we talked about.
Yeah, absolute dog shit of the last season. But tonight, actually, we have a guy, living legend. He is the Lord of Bots. He is the best goddamn content creator on the internet right now when it comes to Call of Duty. His videos, every time there hasn't been a video where I just haven't had to like rewatch it because they're all just absolutely hilarious. Yeah, you can find him on Twitch. I am Ski Mask. You can follow his pages anywhere. Facebook. He has an Instagram. Obviously, you can follow his Twitch, and he is also on TikTok. All this stuff is absolutely amazing. And he's a great guy. We talked to him a little bit behind the scenes a little bit. We talked to him for a while. This is I Am Ski Mask, the Lord of Bots. And here he is, everybody. There he is. I told you, I'm getting better at my intros. I love it.
I was like, that's a lot to live up to.
It's all right. It's all right. Hey, I try to live up to because this show is named after Chael Sonnen. You know what Chael Sonnen is? The former middleweight champion, the one that beat Anderson Silva down for 5 rounds and got caught by a sissy triangle choke to lose the title.
Ooh, no.
Okay, so Chael Sonnen is a former UFC fighter, and he is like before Conor McGregor. In his promos, Chael would spit out these just random promos about every single Brazilian fighter you could think of. Because at his reign, the Brazilians had just about every title. Jose Aldo had, he's held titles all over, but like that was Anderson Silva and that's Vanderlei Silva, and all these guys were just maniacs. Some of the greatest of all time. And like Chael would he'd grab a microphone, and he would talk about the first time he seen the Nogueiras come to the U.S. and he goes, I was walking downtown Vegas and Little Nog, there's 2 Nogueira brothers. There's Little Nog and Big Nog. And he goes, Little Nog walks up to this bus and hands it a carrot. And the Big Nog is sitting there like, whoa, big fella. They thought the bus was a horse. He just just shit like that. He just push these promos. They're great.
Oh, wow.
And so Chael inspired our show because Chael had a famous promo, I am pure steel and sex appeal. And so this show is Pure Steel Podcast based off that infamous quote.
Oh
So
wow.
we actually didn't say it yet. So yeah, this show is pure steel.
And sex appeal.
Every show we do that.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then
man,
we
sex
actually had a
sells.
show before this one. This is back.
This is
A long
in high
time ago.
school almost. It was
Yeah, like he
late.
just graduated high school. We did an MMA show. We had guys like Ben Askren on,
Yeah, we
Mike
used to do
Richmond.
that shit off our phones.
Yeah, we used to do it off our cell phones. We'd have to call in and then have like a speaker. So I put it on a speakerphone so we could hear the guys talking
It was rough.
through a
Oh
phone.
wow.
And then like link up to a computer somehow. It was crazy. But we like back in the day though, like we had a lot of viewers. People call in all the time. It was a lot of fun. We don't do the call in stuff now because we just want to be, you're the important part of the show. We're just here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you never know who you're gonna get either when on a call in.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what you're about? Other than what I said, you can hype yourself up a little bit. Get yourself jacked up, dude.
Well, hey man. No, I live in California. I've lived here for about like 10 or 11 years. Originally started out in music. That's what I originally moved out to California for. Ended up producing instead of I thought I was going to be like the star. I thought I was going to be the superstar. I was going to be like a kind of like a Kendrick Lamar, Drake, or somebody like that. But I ended up just writing for a lot of those type of artists, and then helped in production with those artists. And then I moved on to got deeper into like stuff with camera and videography and editing. And a lot of people that I work with were like, dude, you got to really, you have like a good eye, you have like a good imagination for this video stuff. And I just, a lot of people that I work with thought I had been doing it for years, and I'm like, nah, I've only I barely started touching this stuff. It kind of came to me, I guess, you know what I mean? It found me. And then I had worked also in some bigger productions, a lot bigger productions. I was also gonna get involved with some WB stuff. And then I decided, let me come over to this content creation stuff. Pandemic happened. And, I was in the house just playing games, and, my friends were like, hey, you should, you're really funny. You should, start streaming on Twitch. And, that didn't go the way I thought it would. I was like, hey, I'm gonna just get on Twitch. I'm gonna blow up, it's gonna be great. And that didn't, obviously that didn't happen. And looked around at the venues, and people were like, oh, you gotta go down this avenue. You have to create content, and then people will come in. And, I figured, hey, this is a great way to kind of be a big fish in a small pond. So I really, took advantage of that. And I've since I was a kid, I, had done beatboxing. I was that kid in the class who's like, always just making weird sounds, with his mouth. And, I think by the time I was like graduating high school or just getting out of high school, I was able to just mimic so many different voices. And I know that kind of like, the growly movie type voice, that's something that people, always have been drawn to. It's like, in a world, one man, people just really like that, and they'd always just be amazed, like, wow, like, people always think I'm using like a mic mod or something like that. Until they actually just see me do it live, and they're like, well, so I decided to go with that to help kind of narrate the stories that I tell. And yeah, it's been really fun. The more people like it, the more I want to keep doing it, and the more I want to keep evolving it and growing it.
So like when based on like your content, how you create it, like do you like remember games, like mark it down, like your story that you're going to tell, like when it goes to your videos? So the Chutes and Ladder one you just came out a couple weeks ago on with the lighthouse on.
Oh yeah.
So like, do you like write that down like after not during your squad wipe, but like after the squad wipe, you like write that down?
So
record that session, like
Yeah, so every time I'm streaming, it's going obviously to Twitch, but then I'm also recording it to my computer, and on my Stream Deck. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a just a piece of hardware that has a bunch of buttons on it that can start playing music for you, can switch the scenes on my stream, and then also Yeah. These are really good. No, this is really good for like any type of production. You know, just even what I've done in TV production. It'd be like essentially that. Like you could switch the camera. You know, you can have it do everything, and you can even set it to I can clip, you know, a gameplay for myself. So what I'll do is I'll clip it, and I'll clip it, and I'll clip it, and then I'll go back to Twitch and I'll see where the time stamp was, and then I'll go and make a video from that timestamp. I don't know what the story is going to be until I pull up the video. You know, I could make 60 clips and be like, those 2 videos are it. Right? It just depends on like how much time or like how much effort, you know, I really want to put into it. And I've learned to not force it, because if you don't enjoy the content you're making, people aren't going to enjoy watching it. Right? If you don't want to sit back and watch what you made at least a few times, nobody's going to watch it more than once.
See, I never watch it. I always listen to it. I always listen to what we did before. That, like, especially like, you know, like last week with the show with Carl, I really didn't want to touch on anything we touched on before, because I feel like I'm taking away my viewership I could have had from the last show. So, you know, so they're like, oh, I could skip that episode, which I really don't want people to do. I want everybody to listen to everything throughout, which we do have a lot of people who do that, and I get a lot of comments from like, you know, hey, you guys and Uncle Hack, unbelievable.
Oh,
or like our James Lilly, the Goose is Loose on TikTok we had on.
oh, yeah.
I get so many comments, like locally, like, you know, like people that listen to the show locally, like, man, that guy is hilarious. You got to get him back on. I'm like, well, if the guy from Canada actually had decent fucking internet, we could probably have him on more. But we tried to get him on recently, and just like he got to the lobby, which you were already in, and you couldn't have any internet. So it's like, well, we have to fucking scrap the show and start from scratch, because like,
yeah, that'll happen. You know, luckily for me, most of my audio, I don't really need too much of it, unless it's like a hot mic. You know, when it's a hot mic, that's when I can really turn something into a story, because usually a hot mic is offensive. You know, nobody really says anything. You know,
hot mic videos are the best, dude. Like, you just to hear the toxic shit that comes out of some people.
Oh yeah, anytime I get a hot mic, I clip it. I don't care if it was a crappy looking kill. I clip it. I clip it 100%. I definitely can use hot mics. I'm collecting them. I plan on making like one of those type of just compilation videos of hot mics and stuff like that. You know, kind of all streamers kind of do that. But yeah, I mean, I always clip the hot mics, because people are their real selves come out on a hot mic.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So that's why my brother like doesn't want it, because my brother played in like really good lobbies. My brother Wyatt, because there's a time he was like a 2-3. He'd been playing like really good lobbies, and he was always like, I hate to like get caught in like a really, really good lobby and play against like a streamer and then hear them fucking just hear me go off. So he stopped playing with a mic, period. If he's not playing those lobbies, he's playing with his buddies in an Xbox party, because he wants no part of this.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Have you ever played a Wyatt?
I played Battlefield with him.
Oh my gosh, some of the shit.
But only ever, like you say, only ever in a private party.
Yeah, he will not do public parties. Nope. He will absolutely. That's just hilarious.
Yeah, you know, it's and like I said, you get all types of people saying all types of stuff. So it's always, you know, the more content, you know, and I would tell any content creator, like, just even if you suck at it, just keep making the content, because the more you do it, the more, you know, mistakes you make, the more times you'll fail, the more times you'll realize what you could have done better, right? The more you'll start to understand what can and can't be content for you. Right. You know what I mean? And that's how you'll build more of even your brand and, you know, what people like, especially if you're new. People are like, oh, I'm going to sound like this. How do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't even know what people like, you know, and people go, oh, well.
See, one thing too, like, I don't like when people copy stuff. I feel like, you know, we're just about 50 episodes into like what we're doing. I feel like we want to, you know, we try to be our authentic selves no matter what. I hate that. Trying to, because like the biggest person right now, like in the podcast space, you probably look at like Pat McAfee, you know, the Pat McAfee show, and everybody wants, you know, it doesn't matter what ESPN's trying to be like Pat. Everybody's trying to be like Pat, but yet like there's only one Pat McAfee. Be yourself, be original, and be true to who you are. And like in this industry, because I feel like authenticity can be sensed through a microphone.
Right.
I can't make up how fucking random I could be. I was born this way. That's just the way it is.
Totally, totally.
If I could control it,
And that's the thing. I always tell people, one thing that I mainly try to tell people is, it's impossible to actually copy somebody, because you're going to leave your own imprint on something. Now, if you literally just downloaded my video and then posted it to your page, I mean, now you're not even copying, you're just literally stealing my stuff, right? Because if somebody tried to come to me like, oh, you're like that other guy who tells you're telling stories like that other guy, I'm like, because nobody's ever told a story, so it's all in the perception of what is really like copy, and from music to TV to movies, anything that I've worked on in creation, I've learned the one thing is that nothing is original. Nothing is original, the only thing that's original is, like you said, you're just you and you're doing what you do. That's the originality in whatever you do.
Yep.
Right. So you could say, hey, Pat, this Pat guy has his show. I want my show to look like that. There's no way you're going to get it to look like that because he's been doing it longer. He's been doing him longer. The best thing you can do is try to strive for that type of greatness and get the best outcome that you can get for yourself. Right.
Yeah.
Because in content world,
like
that's a huge
wise,
thing.
I'm the only plumber or guy in the podcast here that has plumber stickers right above my shoulder. The bottom one is Georgia Plumber. The top one is Danny Grande. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Stick right here.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Somebody could be like, oh, I want to be like you. And then next thing you know, they're like, where do I get that plumber sticker? Now they're just trying to have a sticker. And then they realize, actually, I'm going to put a sticker of something I like. And then they put the sticker up there. You know what I mean? And then their wife comes in and is like, get that sticker off the wall. And he's like, oh, shit. So it's like so many things go into it, but yeah, I mean, I think the best thing is just to keep putting out as much as you can put out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Especially if you're starting, because you don't know what people are going to like. But once you find something, like once a video or whatever you do, because it could just take one video, once one video goes viral, you're like, okay, you really need to sit down and you need to analyze that video. Like for you guys, like some podcast just blows out the water, right? And you're like, and you're sitting there, you got to look at it and be like, okay, what did we do? You know what I mean? And how can we do it again? And I think that's one thing that I always like truly try to focus on when I'm making a video, because I get trapped in this thing where I want to like make the next best video, but sometimes I just need to try to make still good videos. You know what I mean?
Right. Content. Yeah, like you said, like having the content and pushing it is like the key.
Yes.
Right. So is there anybody, I guess, that you watch in particular, or that you, I guess, I don't look up to, I suppose, or what? Like,
I mean, I think one of the first people that, had really caught my attention, was when I was going through Instagram and I saw this guy, T Clean TV, right? And I was like, oh, what's this? Like, oh wow, okay, people are streaming, right? When I had retired from competitive gaming and just gaming in general, I'd taken a long break. Twitch was kind of just starting out. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm like people really sit and watch other people play video games? This is crazy. So I looked and I saw this guy streaming, this guy T Clean TV, and I was like, wow, that's like who is this? And I've actually become really good friends with him, like family, and I just remember watching and I was like that's what really inspired me too, to be like, what, maybe my friends are right. Maybe I could do this, And then I was like, but it seems like people are just real serious and they're trying to drop these large numbers and high kills. And then I came across Dr. Disrespect and I was like, okay. And then I also saw Tim the Tatman and I was like, okay, you don't have to be good.
No, you don't.
Right?
You just got to be entertaining. That's the
Right.
Exactly. You gotta be entertaining, and entertaining and bringing entertainment to people is one thing that I've always been good at. So
I guess like if I like what I like about some guys like Rexzilla on Facebook, he has such a way to he gets on like an hour before he plays, he interacts with his chat, like he just sits there, talks to him, just hangs out with them, answers questions, and I messaged him, I was like, what, how, because first I was like, would you ever be interested in coming on? He goes, I'm so busy outside of outside of like gaming in the morning. I'm busy after that. He goes, I do not have time to do whatever. But he goes, I have my own podcast 1 hour before I start streaming. I hang out with my chat. I talk to him, shoot the shit. And I'll talk about TV I watch. It's like I have like an everyday show, for the first hour, and then after that, he plays with the Audio Freak Mugs, and I forgot who Abrupt. That's usually who he plays with. But like, yeah, it's just those guys are really entertaining. I think that's the key too, like getting a group. If you're gonna do like that group session, getting a group.
Yeah, totally. And I think that really works out well for the gamers who have that type of content where they're like, guess what happened today? And I was playing with such and such. But for me, I was trying to find the group, and I was like, all I need is that one like squad wipe. You know what I mean? Because I will get on with some of these guys, and I'm like, okay, I can't get content with these guys. And then also what you're saying with chat is, I've learned that like my chat really fills up to about like, about 6 to 10 viewers, around, I think it's like around like 10:30 a.m. or so. So I make sure I'm on at like 6 a.m. sometimes, so I can really get in the work I need to get in, so I can do something later. Because once they show up, I try to like talk to them and play at the same time, right?
Yeah. You did that with me the other day. We just kind of shot the shit. I was typing. You were
exactly. And that was like Friday night when I was even playing with viewers. I didn't care how that night went, because sometimes, if you don't talk to somebody for like 10, 15 seconds, they're like, all right, I'm out of here, and how do you blame them? There's plenty of people for them to just swipe or click to the next person and be like, hey, this person's talking to me, So I try to make sure I'm there and I can, give that intention while also, being entertaining. And, maybe I woke up and have a bad day, but I have to make sure that like, because I know some people are going through some rough stuff when they come to my, chat. They're like, dude, like I haven't laughed in a long time, or like, I love your stuff. It makes me laugh so much. They'll come in and they'll be like, they'll be mentioning everything from my videos. And I'll even recognize them. I'm like, oh, you're that guy that watched that one video. And you can see they go through on all my notifications and they'll start binge watching, all my videos that I previously posted before the one they saw. And, they'll tell me about, something that happened in life. Maybe they lost somebody, and they'll tell me about that. And they're like, I'm just, I'm so glad that you're like not this streamer who's just going around and just getting high kills. Like you're totally different. And I don't want to ever take my attention away from that person. I want to make sure that, they know that, they can come to my like, stream, that they can come to my chat and they can chill out and relax and vibe. It can kind of be like a second home for them.
It seems to me like I guess I don't know what the time frame is, but like lately anyways, I've been noticing that there's that lane for the high kill, whatever content. And then, but I think there's an even bigger lane for like the kind of stuff that you were just talking about. Like more people are shifting towards like chatting and playing at the same time, no matter like how the game turns out.
Totally. And that's for Call of Duty, because if you look at some of these variety streamers, dude, they're just playing like a, Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart type game, you know what I mean? And they're holding like 20,000 viewers or 10,000 viewers, you know what I mean? And I even look at that sometimes too, like, how could I answer that one dude who like has always been in my chat? How can I make sure I keep up with chat and him when the chat's just like this? All right, it's just constantly. How do you keep up with that? I look at some of these dudes and wonder how they keep up with it. But
a lot of I think like especially like Facebook gaming and like YouTube, it's money. Someone still just put $50 in the chat. But
pop up deals.
But like I think like actually I see like on Twitch, like I think it's Jay Laner, who's Z's brother. He does Twitch RuneScape, and a lot of people will go from like watching his Facebook Warzone stuff and hop over there and watch him. People are jumping over there to watch him play RuneScape, and he engages with everybody, and it's so awesome. Like he's just full of conversations, and everybody chips in. Right. It's like, oh man, this is great, just to hang out with Jay Laner playing of all games RuneScape. Classic.
Right, exactly. I wouldn't mind getting to a point where there is that like split for me, right? Where I wouldn't mind just playing Goat Simulator. and just
I've
talking to
never
people in
played that.
chat.
I've seen it on my
I've
Game
Right.
Pass.
I've been this close to buying that, like I don't know how many times.
Right.
I-
Well, no,
on
it's
the
free
store.
on Xbox Game
Yeah,
Pass.
the Gamer Pass is free. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's free on the Game Pass, right? They have a lot of those type of games on there. But then I also think like there's no way I could make, I could make some funny videos with it. Don't get me wrong, easily, but I couldn't produce as much of it as I want to. And,
What about
and
like,
even as
Red
you're saying,
Dead? I feel like Red Dead, you can make some fucking
Well,
badass
yeah,
content. Like,
that's one of those games.
could you imagine?
Oh, yeah,
your-
totally.
Could you, like, seriously? Could you imagine your movie voice telling something with Arthur Morgan? Like just some like random.
oh yeah, oh
Uh,
easily, and that's the thing too. Like I'm waiting for more games like that to come out again because it's also as a content creator you have to think of relevancy. I couldn't drop a Mario game,
No.
and do that. People will be like, because people are going to see Mario and they're like, swipe, must be an ad. It's that quick. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is this? Oh my God. Like, am I asleep? You really got to stay like relevant, and what's, coming around.
So like
And-
with relevancy though, like with Modern Warfare 2 right around the corner, and
Yeah.
I would say Season 5 coming out tomorrow, right? Next season of Warzone is tomorrow.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe
Or
so.
yeah, like midnight tonight or something like that. So with the destruction of Caldera, obviously the volcanoes erupting. What's your hopes with Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 2, and then obviously most importantly, I guess, for in your field with Warzone 2?
I've been thinking about that a lot, and my hope is that a lot of careers came to a lot of content creators from the first one. A lot of them are thinking that's going to happen again. I'm trying to not think like that because if it wasn't for the pandemic, I think things would have played out a lot differently. People wouldn't have been stuck in their house trying to figure out what's the next best gun or how to move around a map or whatever, right? I think I'm hoping that it stays relevant, that people aren't just like super disappointed again. You know what I mean? Because it'll be like, man, I gave you a second chance. I gave you a whole another $60,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and you shoved it up my ass. Like you did me wrong here.
Boy,
Right.
geez, the Activision, Jesus Christ!
Exactly, right? Like I'm never playing this game again. I'd rather go back to
You're there
Halo.
the next night, still playing it, bitching and moaning about it. That's how it goes.
Exactly, and then they'll be in my comments being like, "You stupid." Like what? And then now I'm not even spelling it right. It's the worst when somebody calls me stupid and they don't spell it right, and it drives me crazy. But anyways, the biggest hope that I have for it is that it is good to keep people around, and that the map is really important.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The map is really important because they need to drop it in a way that like everybody is on one map. They can't drop it and then also have Rebirth, right? Because they have Rebirth and they have this map. People are going to be split and they're going to be like, oh, this kind of sucks. I'm going back to Rebirth. And then they'll play Rebirth like, it's the same shit again, right? And then they leave. So I'm hoping that they keep the new map up for at least 3 months and that a lot of people will be playing it and circulating on it and really understanding it and getting to know it. I hope that there's not 300 guns. Like let's keep a low gun count. And if we load in a new gun, get rid of another one.
Right.
Don't have this high amount of guns. And then also the skins that people purchase for a gun. I hope that it's like Apex to where if you purchase this skin, it can be applied to any gun, no matter what the gun build is. Because that was a problem, right? You buy a skin and then you get the gun. You're like, this thing's shooting all over the place, right? I have to put these attachments on the gun to make it work right. But now it doesn't even the only thing that is like Commando Grip is the only thing with the cool paint on it, and now it's just a silver gun again. Like, what are we doing here?
Like
So I
everybody's running that Armaguerra, the toxic paint. I mean, because Zlander put it out like, oh, this is my build, the toxic paint Armaguerra. But the toxic paint Armaguerra build is completely different to what you bought it for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I think the toxic paint was like the long barrel. I believe it was the Commander for the Carver the Carver foregrip, the short mag, and different stock. and then it had like this stupid scope on it. And then just but like to build it the way he did it, you had to put the short thing on there, hand stop, 72 round mag, just like a whole build of this like.
Completely different.
But all you get out of this whole thing you bought, this $20 you bought, was a spray painted smiley face. It's all you can see in the gun. It's just like, well, that's like. But
Exactly.
so you worked this hard to unlock all this, then you take money out of your wallet, buy the paint. So all you just got is just paint. You didn't get a skin with it.
You don't get the tracers with it, nothing. And for me, that's one thing I don't do. I don't grind out for camos. I don't, because if the camo isn't helping my gun shoot better, I don't care how it looks.
The only one camo that really caught my eye recently was actually the Terminator stuff. But like,
yeah, that was really cool.
You have to get like the 5 kills like Gula. I'd get like the chrome paint. I was like, I got to do that thing. That's sick. Any gun you put that chrome with.
Yeah, no, totally. All of those look really dope. They're finally getting a hang of it, and I think too, people don't realize that like they're always testing something out, right?
Yeah.
It's a $1 billion company. Not every $1 billion company is perfect. Like they're all still making mistakes, but the best they can do is learn from it. And I think they're testing it out. And I think what we're seeing now with these collaborations, that we're going to see a hell of a lot more of those coming along in the future, considering Fortnite. They're the best at in-game events, and they're the best.
Yeah, they just dropped his Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly. And Dragon Ball,
they just released a new.
They got Marvel, they got everybody, but that doesn't mean that Warzone can't have it either.
So I think Warzone, they have to have that gritty character. Like John Rambo was kind of a good addition. Then
totally.
Die Hard is cool.
Yeah.
They need to have the Predator in there.
Right.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Alien versus Predator shit. All that.
Exactly. They have like an
so
alien.
Can you imagine
skin?
that, like a collaboration, like on the next map, like MW2, Warzone 2 map, having like a thing where you have to go hunt the Predator, like kind of like Godzilla Kong.
Game did that already? No, there's a game that did that. Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands. It was a single mission that they put in. That was, you had to go hunt the Predator, and you had to kill him and then fucking zoom out of there quicker. Your whole team died.
The bonding that could come from that, like Godzilla Kong, was kind of a bust for me because I thought it was just like really boring. Like you sit there and shoot at these creatures and they don't die anyways. But like, just like the bonding, it's like, all right, empty the goddamn clips. Here's a muni box. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, and there's always that split, right? So you have people like me that are like, oh my god, here we go again. That's stupid, right? Because I play like sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day. Yeah. But then you have people who, like you said, you're like, I don't care. I just want to get. I don't care if it's like I'm going to push teams, right? Who just want to get on there and have fun, and they're like, sweet, like I see more of that type of commentary, and I'm closer to that type of community than a lot of other streamers because like I'm Lord Bot. Like I guess you could say I cater to the bots, so I really get to hear what they think and how they perceive the game, and they want to come on there. They want to have fun, They just. They got kids. They got, lots of work to do. They're not trying to drop 30 kills. They're happy if they get a kill. They're happy if they win. If they're carried to a win with 0 kills, that will make their day in Call of Duty.
Life story, dude. I need to sum up my life.
right. So for them, they're like, hell yeah, I don't care if Godzilla and King Kong don't fight. Dude, this is cool. Look at this. I'm getting to shoot at King Kong.
Right. They're in the game that I'm playing. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at this precision airstrike. Watch this, you fucking ape.
Exactly. And there's a huge split right now where like there's the casuals and then there's the pros or the wannabe pros. Like there's no like essentially middle class, right, for gamers right now. It's either you're good or you're not. Yep. Right. You want to dominate the game or you just want to have fun in it. Right. And I think, a lot of the complaint, like, the casuals like, God, all these people want to be great. And, and then the pros are like, man, they're just catering to the catering to the casuals. So you really have that split right now, and I hope that for me, I hope they do cater to the casuals because if the casuals stop playing the game, they're going to stop watching the content.
Mm-hmm. So, like, are you keyboard or are you controller?
I'm controller.
Okay. Do you play console or do you actually have like a PC setup?
PC.
Okay. So I was actually talking to my brother, who I mentioned earlier. And he goes, it's impossible, because he's like, we're talking about like crossplay, all that stuff. And he goes, it's absolutely impossible for Activision to create a community just for computer players. You can fill lobbies with console players only, but you're gonna have a hard time, because the common guy, me and Austin per se, we both play console. There's
Exactly.
X amount of people that play computer. There's no way they're ever going to fill up consistent computer lobbies, only lobbies.
No, not at all.
So, the people, some people say like computer players are actually, so much better, but I play with a couple where I'm just as good as them. So it comes down to the player, obviously.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. It's exactly. There's people.
I know guys that still run the PS4 day one PS4 that are still plus one.
What are you saying?
I got one upstairs. It's all right. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. There's that's the thing. Like, people are just like, oh, he's on PC. That's why he's better. And I'm like, look, if you're not good on PC, if you're not good on console, you're not going to be good on PC.
No, absolutely. That's the truth.
PC's not going to make you better.
It's a
you
strategy.
have to be good to understand how PC can help you improve. But if you're not good, you're not going to understand that.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? You won't even know, like, if anything, like people that are even really good, they go to PC and they're like, wow, like this extra FOV, it actually makes it more difficult when you first start using it. This guy who might have been 10 feet in front of you, he's what he looked like right here. He looks like he's really, 30 yards away, even though he is still 5. So when you're tracking this little dot, not this big old dude in front of you anymore.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of aim assist on controller to PC. I got to say that is for sure. You have much stickier aim assist as a console player. For some reason, the controller just maybe it's not like there's like a delay or disconnect there, but console has very sticky aim assist. I noticed that I'm losing aim assist a lot.
Yeah,
like a lot.
I think,
and I hope they fix that.
All streamers will say, "Oh, that damn aim assist. That's the only reason why it got me, because that damn thing. You see this thing over here and it locked on to me.
I think just using a mouse, it's way easier.
You see some of those
you can move your crosshair so much smoother.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just put it this way: just anybody is good naturally in life at pointing something out with their finger. How much are you ever looking around people and be like, "It's him, right? It's that guy. It's him over there."
This son of a bitch right here.
Yeah, exactly. He's right over there. So it's easier to use that mouse and really point around. The better you get at that, you have your elbow, you have your shoulder, you have your arm, all of your wrist movement. I mean, there's so many there. Not only that, the buttons on the keyboard.
Right.
I have to like one button on a controller can be the function for 3 different functions.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes
unless you got the fancy paddles,
like for instance, on when I'm going to revive somebody, I can revive them. I can jump in a car. I can close a door. I can reload my gun. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
I can end up doing so many wrong things in a situation. On a keyboard,
these things back here have saved my life in Call of Duty. These have made me better. There's little paddles in the back.
Oh, exactly.
They're huge. But
most people only run 2. Most people only run 2 because just even in your mind, it's hard to control something so delicately that you're squeezing onto.
Oh man, for me it's Y and jump. That's it. It's Y and jump and just back here, and that's just easy enough.
Oh yeah. That's most.
It keeps my hands here. You know what I mean? It keeps my thumbs down here when I
right on the aimers. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like with a keyboard, you can have a button for revive. You can have a key. You can have a key for revive. You can have a key for doors. You can have a key for cars. You can have a key for everything if you want.
Yep.
So you can do so many different things on a keyboard and mouse. But there will always be that argument of like, hey, this aim assist is just a little too strong, and it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, did it really stop you from dropping a 30?
Right.
Did it? Because it doesn't look like it to me. You still have a 5+ KD. You know what I mean? You still have a 5+ KD. And people are like, yeah, but if I had a 7, people would like me more. I'm like, if you have a 5 KD and people don't like watching you, you're doing something wrong.
No, it's because you have a goddamn person that have a fucking doorknob. That's why I don't
exactly. There's people like Biffle Diaz. He doesn't even have a cam. He doesn't even have a webcam. He's just so good at the game that it's fun. Like it's like watching the Terminator go around and kill the map. You know, he's entertaining to watch, right? And then you have people like Tim the Tatman who are like dying from fall damage most of the time,
Right,
and he's just entertaining to watch.
Oh, him and Stone Mountain are like the two guys like fall. You will see fall damage whenever you watch this match.
Oh yeah, no, it happens to me all the time, all the
Three
time.
times last night in a row. Ski mask 3 times in a
Oh,
row
yeah.
last night. Trying to drop on loadout, getting shot at out of the air, trying to act quick and forgetting to hit the A button.
Oh yeah, no, that like I'll try to quick dive on somebody a lot, and then I'll land. I was like, "Pump," right in front of them, and they turn around, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm dead.
You're
All right,
welcome.
you're welcome. I gave you some extra damage. You're good.
Is cheating in Call of Duty a big thing right now? That a lot of people like. I guess I've seen it. Like you can some matches you could tell. Like even like in the pregame lobby, like this you kind of get like the freezing, you know, like the leg switches when you're kind of running around. You kind of get that shit. Like you're running great, great server, no lagging. Then you go to aim up on one guy, and you get that like lag. You're just like,
I would say this. Back in the day, lag switch was a huge thing, right? Because walling and aimbotting were a very difficult hack to get, right? They were very expensive. They were easily detectable. Lag switching, not so much, right? I don't think there's really that much lag switching. I think it's just the lobbies are just trying to connect so many different people together, and they've done bad with their servers. We already know their servers are bad because there's so many times where like they won't work the whole day. Call of Duty shut down. Like, come on, what are we doing, right? You can tell from people snapping though, like now walls and how you can even dial it down, right? I was watching this video and this guy was like, you can have it show a whole body, you can have it show a box with the skeleton in it, you can have it show just a skeleton, you can have it show you their name, the gun they use, how much ammo they have left, how much plates they have. You can have a whole description, like you literally are the Terminator. You can have a whole description of this person that is behind a wall.
And
right?
I watched a video too the other day that you can, with them aimbots, you can target like specific points on the player model.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like people don't need, if people are gonna hack, they don't need a lag switch.
No,
Yeah.
not
You know what I mean? They don't need the lag switch. If it's the lag, that just means like 10 people, or like imagine you're in the lobby. Pay attention too. You'll jump in the lobby. There's like it's like counting up from like 15, and then all of a sudden there's 30 people, and you had a lag. That's probably what happened. 30 people just loaded into that map. You know what I mean?
I've
From like
noticed
30
a lot,
different
like,
places.
I guess like what I really like noticed, like being like the last 2 teams left. That's where you kind of really. That's when you kind of really pin it down. Where he's like on your head before he can say boo. He come around the corner and he's there, locked onto you. And then all of a sudden everything slows down. And then you're just dead. Like you didn't even get a chance to even turn.
Yeah, and I think the biggest dead giveaway is if it's like the first or second circle, and there's like 1/3 or less of the lobby left.
Oh man, I see that a lot.
That's how you'll usually know, and that's what I'm saying.
Like you feel like a level 15 with like 18.
Oh yeah, that's a dead giveaway. That's a dead giveaway. You can't even create a class, and you're beaming people. I don't think so, right?
I don't care how good the SZ is. You can't do this. This isn't right.
Exactly. Like the lobby may die quick, but also there may be those 3 different teams that are all like on average KD as a team is like 5 something or like 3 something. So you have 3 teams running around going on demon mode, and then they all clash at the end. Like that's happened.
We like well bet on like teams like that. Like we have like a group of friends that are like, we could do that. Like we play our best, we can do this.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's the thing.
The other night, we won the game before the last circle. The other night, like I have an Xbox One. I do not cheat, but I had 9 kills, and everybody else in the team had more kills than me. We just ran out, like just hit the ground running. I really took a liking to the 3-line lately, so I basically just ran a 3-line with the Blixen, and I just shoot, break them, grab the fucking Blixen, and rock and roll. It just worked out great that game because we were just pushing and going. I sit back, hit the first guy, and then they just go boom. There it is.
Right, exactly.
It's all about strategy. If your strategy,
it really is. It really is, and that's the thing. Like the more the more you do all these little things, like while I'm plating, I'm constantly I'm sitting up and standing up, laying down, sitting up, because I want to not only give the impression that I'm laying down and plating, but I also want to see, is this guy moving to the left? Is he moving to the right? Is he still on that edge? Is he? And not only that, he might be trying to shoot me each time. He's not going to hit me, but he might be trying to shoot me. Now I'm lowering his ammo, and by the time I'm done plating, I might come up and he's now needing to reload, and he's
Yep.
doing it in the open. There's all these little things that keep stacking up, and that's what separates somebody who's really good from somebody who's like, no, that guy's cheating. And it's like, no, he's doing like 10 other things in every 2 seconds than you're doing every 10 minutes.
Right.
So what's it like running into like a nest of bots then?
What's it like running into a nest of bots? Oh, it's great.
Like they don't even know
It's
you're
so
there.
good.
You're just there to you can like literally stand there for 15 seconds. They'll never even notice. We
no,
just had
there's
an encounter the other night too. Like my group of friends, we're out on Rebirth Island. We're also at a control center, and my buddy got down. It's like last circle, and there's one. There was like his buddy, and then it was 2-on-2 basically. He downed my buddy, and he wasn't even running. He's like walked over top of him, and my buddy's
Oh,
like
wow.
self-reviving in front of him. And Zach turns around, and this dude is standing like literally stationary, just standing there, waiting for Kenny to come around a corner. But he's upstairs. He's like, after he downed him, he didn't even pay attention to the thing on top. Kenny's upstairs in a corner, and just like begging for his partner to come off the roof. And like
Exactly.
he's like literally standing there, like he has the clip. He's like standing there waiting for him to come down from the thing. It's like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Like some people would just. And that's what I was saying earlier. There are casuals that just play to have fun, and they're like, "Hey, I can't believe we made it out of the stairway alive."
dude, we got second place. That's the way I am. I don't care.
Right.
Like, as long as we're the first team out, I'm happy. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we made the final circle.
Right.
You know what I mean? We didn't die in the gas this time. You know what I mean? And there's there's people that don't pay attention. Like if the circle's here and you land out this far outside of it, you got to make sure that you're inside because it's going to take you a while to get there. Most likely, I'm gonna be right here waiting for you to come in.
Oh man, that was my biggest issue with Caldera to start. Is like landing. You got this big dumpster island of a map, and you gotta everything like works up to a point, and then you got everything else. Like I think there's certain things about Caldera that were really good.
Yeah,
and it was everything but the vegetation and everything but I think it's a beautiful map, but it's not for a shooter game. I think if you were to make a map and have like a, I don't know,
it would have been great for like Turkov.
Yeah,
something where you take it very slow.
Yeah,
but for a fast paced, like they really changed the way of BRs because no BR is faster than Warzone.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? No BR is faster than Warzone. Every other game you have to. I miss it a lot. I actually made a Bring Back Verdansk video.
Yeah, I seen that. That's my ass. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it did okay on Facebook, but between like other platforms, I think it was almost up to like 3-4 million views, and that like a lot of people are like, oh my god, I'd come back, I'd reinstall the game. I saw that a lot. I'd reinstall the game if Verdansk came back. So many other people, if they didn't say that, they said that they quit after like a month of Caldera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I think a lot of thing that was alluring to a lot of casuals is being like, hey, I don't have to like put together a gun. I can buy the best gun I know I have. Popping a loadout is thrilling. It's exciting.
Right.
And in Caldera, that wasn't easy to do. Not only that, the free one dropped. The free one dropped way later, and the only casuals that were left to play the game, they hated that. Because they're like, now, the demons are going to be able to grab their loadout quickly again and start to go off. So it's. I think they need to bring it back. I miss it. I would love playing it.
I didn't start playing Warzone until the last season of it, or the last season of Modern Warfare. And that was. It took me a while to get into the game because I really didn't. Because that was, we're going through the pandemic and stuff, but like I I played Red Dead. That was my thing, man. I love the
Yeah.
everything about the Western, man. I loved it. It's still to me, Red Dead's the greatest game ever made. It's not even close.
What the first one or second one?
Second one, Red Dead 2 is the best story ever told in a video game. Like they can make movies about that game. It's so good, and like you still get knee-jerk reactions. That's the only game I ever cried to. Ski Mask.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's only when Arthur Morgan. Spoiler alert! If you haven't played it,
Yeah, holy fuck.
Arthur Morgan dies, and that was tough. I had to recover. I stood up, paused the game, took a lap around the house, got it back together, and kept on playing. It was tough, dude. It was tough. I had a really intimate relationship with that whole storyline. It was.
No, I can tell. That's
a good game, man.
Yeah.
My brother got stickers
awesome.
made for his. My brother's also a big fan of the game, and he got a sticker made, and the years Arthur Morgan lived, and like the cowboy sticker, like Arthur Morgan, like this year to this year.
Wow, really?
Yeah, dude, that game's big. That game is iconic. You ever play that?
No, I that all came out during my like hiatus from playing games.
Dude, you gotta play that. Like, just do yourself a favor.
I
You should stream it. I'll sit there and watch it with you.
I used to play a lot. I used to play a lot of video games. Even back with the first Modern Warfare, I had it totals like how much you've played by like the minute. I had about 168 days worth of play.
Jesus Christ, it's a lot.
So I would wake up, play it as much as I could before work, go to work, come back, play it until I fell asleep with the controller in my hand. I was dedicated. And when it kind of started slowing down, I'd still play it a lot, but I also played other games in between, right? Whenever a new game would come out, I would make sure I had 2 days off of work.
I feel like that's like one thing missing in the industry, though. Like I think it's a newer thing because like when Battlefield came out, there's like X amount of people excited for Battlefield, and the fucking game absolutely tanked.
They all the last
three
and come out with have been fucking.
Ooh, I liked the last one.
The last good one was the Battlefield 1.
Yeah, Battlefield 1 was really good.
Yeah, the problem is that everybody's just trying to make sure that they come out with something, and instead of being like, let's give it a couple more years,
right?
So we can make sure the game is good. Yep.
Nobody's learned from Game of Thrones.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of like that. It's
they have to push you something out too fast.
Spectacle.
Exactly. And I think that's definitely, even for Call of Duty, I don't think they weren't expecting the pandemic.
No.
I think that I truly believe they weren't expecting Warzone to do as good as it did. That's why they didn't try to build it on top of even like a really solid anti-cheat. You know what I mean? They're like, people aren't going to be playing so much that they're going to want to like cheat their way up to the top. Like, I don't think so. Let's put a report system in there later on if we need to. Right. So I think that, that is like a major factor. They just did not expect it to do as good as it did. And now it's like, oh shit. Now we have to make another map. What do we have? What about that crappy one from a few years ago? The one we were going to use for Blackout? Sure, fuck it.
Right.
And they threw it in there, because again, Caldera probably would have been a good map for Blackout, because you do got to play a little slower. You can grapple hook everywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
I haven't played Blackout, but I've watched enough of it to know it probably would have worked out on Caldera, right? You have to search for every little piece. You got to go through every little hut, every little building, pick all the pieces of your gun, really strategically move across the map. But I think they just scrambled, and I just hope that they're not scrambling right now. And now that Microsoft is involved, I really think things are going to change for them, because Microsoft's like, look, we are going to release the game every 3 years now, not every year. I want all three companies to work on one game at a time. One department is the zombies, one department is multiplayer, and one department is the battle royale. You know what I mean? And that's smart. Take your time on it, really develop it. Instead of coming out with a game every 4 years or 5 years, maybe have three solid teams work on a game that they all been working on, and drop a game every 2 to 3 years.
So that's why, like, I see, like, that's why I think Bethesda is so, that's why every time Bethesda comes out with a game, they win Game of the Year every time, and
Yeah.
people continue to buy Skyrim and buy Fallout because it takes them forever to come
Takes
out.
them 10
They-
years to make a game.
Yeah, it's amazing. Every time people are still posting to this day new Skyrim content every day. You can't say that
Exactly.
about a lot of games, man. You cannot say that
Exactly.
about a lot of games at all. And like even like Fallout 4 wasn't great, but find a better game. You know what I mean? Like you can name off any game you want that kind of like that kind of game. Find a better one. Bethesda's at the top 3 of all those games right now.
Yeah, exactly. And they're buying up the market. They are buying up the market. And it's like, there was a video that I saw where, even Nick Merckx was saying himself, he's like, Xbox 360, that was the best console ever. And it really was. And also the fact that it had some of the best games on it. You know what I mean? Obviously like Halo and Gears of War. And then obviously, Call of Duty, it had them all.
Yep.
Right? It had them all. So now, the consoles are just kind of whatever. You're lucky if you can even buy one of the new ones.
I'm still looking for a PS5. You can't find.
Yeah,
them
we
things
can't get
fucking
PS5s
anywhere.
here. It's impossible.
Right. So it's like trying to get any new console. And it's like, does the new console even matter? Because all the games are releasing, they're still releasing them for the old system.
That's
So what is
I've
even
been
the point?
telling myself lately is like I'm not even gonna put zero effort in trying to find a new one because they're still making games for the one I got. So
Yeah, I wanted the Series X, but I had to settle with the S because I couldn't find anything else. I mean, and I wanted to go back to Xbox because I actually prefer the Xbox controller over the PlayStation controller. Just I have
Totally.
for hands.
Totally. Me too. Yeah, it's the same one. It's the same one I play with.
Yeah, look at that thing. It's sick.
Yeah. So, same one I play with. I've always been, PlayStation. And when Xbox hit and there was Halo, we were connecting 4 Xboxes, 16 controllers, 4 TVs. We would go into it. There was a point we were sickly addicted to it, right? And this is back in high school. And I remember like my friend had this party. His parents were gone for the weekend, and we're like, yeah, man, we're gonna have chicks over. And actually, a lot of chicks did show up this time. We didn't care. We just kept playing and playing and playing. And these girls were standing around drinking their drinks like, do you even care?
no,
We're just like, no, you can leave. You can leave. If you're not going to play, get out of the way. Right. So, we were addicted to it. And then I was like, yo, I'm going to get the Halo edition Xbox. I don't care if I own 4 Xboxes already. I remember like me and my buddy were like, let's get an apartment that is good for hooking up 4 TVs and Xboxes. I know the rent's going to be too much, but we will sell our own asses if we have to.
Yeah,
right.
We can get a keg. We get charged $10 a keg, cup.
Exactly. Exactly. I swear, bro. I'll sleep with the landlord. Whatever we got to do, right? So we were, it became the thing where I was like, wow, gaming is really this thing. And then the more the games that came out, the more like competitive I became. I'd go to tournaments. I'd win tournaments. I'd be on game battles, winning game battles. And I was like, wow, I'm making like good money. Like, I was like, there was a point where I only had to do work part-time because I was making a good amount of money. But I also had to stop because back in like 2010, gaming wasn't really like, it wasn't lucrative. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It just was not that lucrative. It was kind of like, okay, like you play games, but like, are you going to do something with your life? So I think, now it's way different and I love it, man. I love it. I can't.
You are actually amazing at what you do. Your content you put out, man, is just it's top notch.
I appreciate that. I really do.
You create the most interesting content that draws, I guess, like me, because I like funny stuff and like the stories you tell. Inside the stories you tell, like you'll go on like I'm gonna clean out this rat nest. Don't talk about my gram, and then you tell this whole story inside another story. You tie everything together so great, and then boom, you're dead. Just like how you lay it out is amazing.
I appreciate that. I spend a lot of time.
Well,
I
you can
do
tell
have
you
other-
because what you put out. It's not like you just put stuff out. You put stuff out that you think through, and you think about your audience. Now you're talking to two guys that are your audience. We love your stuff, and
I appreciate that.
can't wait for the future with your stuff.
Yeah,
It's all gonna be
Like
amazing.
I think it was like the Bring Back Verdansk video. I sat for like 3 hours in a sound catalog just trying to find the right sound before I even started writing anything. You know, for me, I try to make sure that like I want to like connect with people. You know what I mean? And obviously, laughing is the best way to do that.
Yep.
You know, people always remember the happy times, and you know, even the sad
Bring Back
ones, like in
Verdansk video,
Red Redemption.
Just like the littlest thing in the Verdansk video is like you talk about the burger joint, and then you add
Yeah.
Tim the Tat Man in there. That
Tim the
was so
Tat Man,
good.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I had to on that one because it was getting near the end of making it, and I was like, I need something to kind of break the tension. I need something a little funny, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, sad, emotional, like, you know, nostalgic, and you know, I thought Tim the Tat Man would be a great, you know, kind of like ode to the old days. So yeah, I really enjoyed making that one. That one took me a while. Most of my videos take me like 5+ hours
Oh man.
to make, you know, and it's kind of crazy because the video's only a minute,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like every time, like I did that show last week. You know, like when you enjoy what you do, like time just flies by. So like last week, I told myself like hour and a half of Carl and Jason, and I shit you not, like we were talking about the spontaneous human combustion, which is a thing.
I don't know.
Mhm.
It's a real thing. Like it's an actual phenomenon that happens. People just blow up. It just fucking happens. I wish I could explain
Just
it.
explode.
But it
Wait,
just happens.
where
People-
are you getting this information from?
From demonologist Carl L. Johnson.
Okay.
Okay, so he's a legitimate dude. He's like top tier. Like if you think paranormal stuff, amazing. Like he knows everything.
Okay.
And he was actually do you watch Ghost Hunters as a kid?
Ghost Hunters?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay, he was in the first season of that.
So how is it to say that, you know, maybe it's not they're just spontaneously combusting, that like, you know, there's a demon that goes inside of them and
It's
just
not. He claims it's not supernatural. He claims it's a natural phenomenon that just happens. It's like the way he said it was like if you are, you know, like so and so, like Austin's case, he's a welder, all right. You carry home this gas inside your lungs, and something happens. We go home, and the only thing left is what's left of you is your knees down. It's a real thing.
Insane. I'm not sold.
He's
I'm
not.
not. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm with your buddy right now. I'm not sold.
The thing. I'm never going to.
I'm not sold. I need these days with how many fucking cameras we have, I need proof. Right? I need actual proof, and not just of it when it happened. I need to see their whole day.
Right.
Okay.
What they ate.
Well, see, that's part of like the reports is like it's like certain. It's not everybody, and this phenomenon is about as rare as like, you know, like in his field, like it's about as rare as a demon actually like oppressing somebody. So like 1 in 1 million people this might actually happen to. So like it's a certain qualifications. Like what do you do? What do you do for a living?
I mean, how do they know? Like, do they? Is it? Maybe, do you think you don't think it's like some guy like, you know, some guy writing the report and he's just like,
well,
I don't want to do this fucking report. It was randomly human combustion. Fuck this. I need dinner.
So like the argument with it is like it's 2022, so people dive into every little report. You know what I mean? So like people are breaking this down now as like, okay, what's this guy do for a living? What was in his body? So like some of the cases like alcohol. Okay, so it's like, okay, this guy works in a feed mill all day, and he added alcohol to his system. And he smokes. But
Right.
his body literally exploded because of three variables that were in the system.
I can only
You know what I mean?
imagine, I can only imagine the detectives that do that type of work. You know what I mean? I can only imagine. It's just, you know, there's probably like that one guy that's like, I wonder what happened to him. And the other guy's like that really serious guy. He's like, tobacco.
Yeah.
It was tobacco.
And
And not just any tobacco. He grew it himself.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He didn't know how to properly balance all the chemicals. Right? And he's like, you really think so? He's like, don't make me tell you again. It was tobacco. right? And then you have like the guy that was telling you about it, and he's like, "Yeah, it was tobacco." Yeah.
Had
Yeah,
to been.
it had been.
Look, man, I used to follow ghosts,
Yeah.
right? So then you know, and you're like, "Hey, yeah, I believe in ghosts. Yeah, hey, like I can't deny that. You know, that there's got to be something, right? There's got to be some type of spirit to sit around. Like, there's no way that as humans we've done all these type of evil things that we've ever done in this life, and that there's not something that someone who's like, you know what? No, fuck this. I am going to make somebody's life a living hell.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just all those things that come in. But I could only imagine the people that get called up and, you know, they're like, there's another one. We're on our way. Right. So I could only imagine what those two people look like, and I could never take it serious.
So like this is my example. So I got you going on this spontaneous human combustion. So this was like the first half hour of my last podcast. I looked at my clock. I was like a half hour. Like I gotta get to like Carl, like paranormal stuff. I have to. I looked back at my clock and it was like 2 hours 45 minutes. I was like, son of a bitch, what happened to the last 2 hours?
Oh my God! See, that's what happened, man.
Oh, I loved it. It was like I enjoyed every second of it, man. It's just like you get these two characters, you know, Carl, who is like just he's amazing. We're actually, spoiler alert to all the people watching and all the fans. Carl will be coming back. We're going to do a Halloween show with him and Jason again. News to you. It is going to happen.
No, I think you did tell
Oh,
me.
nice.
But yeah, so that's we're going to do that again. But yeah, just like how you lose track of time, you know, if people you enjoy. I just realized we're almost an hour 15 with you, and I told you it was going to be an hour. I don't want to hold you up too much.
Yeah,
Sure,
no, that's
premium
fine.
tonight.
That's fine. That's fine.
And we did want to talk about Game of Thrones, so I might let you go now. But I want, you know, if you want to come back on the future, open door. We had an amazing conversation with you.
So
Absolutely.
you were gonna ask me about Game of Thrones?
No, I was like, we're going to talk about it. It's kind of our thing. We're nerds. If you want to
Oh,
join,
okay,
in,
yeah.
If you want to join,
No,
in,
that's fine. I'll put the Game of Thrones to rest.
You're not going to
Okay.
watch House of the Dragon?
No, I am.
Oh,
Now,
it is amazing.
I didn't watch it until this year, so I got to binge watch it all at once.
Jealous.
I
wish would've
also
done it. I lived
also
up to the
got to-
hype of this fucking
and I can
dog.
tell you this, season 8 wasn't that disappointing because I got to watch it all just like this. If I had to sit around for a whole year or so and wait for that to happen, I'd be like, what the hell are we fucking doing? There's like episodes missing, you know?
Yeah,
For me, I was
jealous.
like, oh, it's over. And my girlfriend's like, yeah, it only has 6 episodes. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's over now. I can tell you this. The show Vikings on History blows Game of Thrones out the fucking water.
Oh.
It really does.
It blows it out of the water. And then I can also say this: The Last Kingdom,
Yeah, that's
also
unreal.
better than Game of Thrones.
Really?
Game of Thrones is great.
That fucking Last Kingdom.
The
I tried.
Vikings.
No,
like,
The Last Kingdom is great. The Last
The
Kingdom is
first
great.
3 seasons of Vikings is probably better than Game of Thrones.
No, I was gonna say like it's pretty slow going at first, but the later seasons fucking really turn it up.
Yeah,
and that's when it gets really good.
exactly. And if you actually like, you know, if you pay attention to history or like know much about like you know the history of how all that stuff kind of was and became, you know, it's very interesting to see how they break it down. You know, it's closer to what history was for the Vikings. The Last Kingdom is more of like a Netflix thing, not a History Channel thing.
Yeah.
So The Last Kingdom is a little fabricated. You know, there's like the Uhtred guy, and he was actually, you know, a character. He wasn't necessarily a you know, a heathen or whatnot. He was close to them, and he understood a lot of their fighting techniques. That's why he was one of like the best warriors. And he was just, you know, I think it was one of those things like back in the day, everybody thought like a mile could only be ran so fast until some guy did it. Now everybody's breaking all these records.
Yeah.
You know, I think for Uhtred, it was one of those things where like you can truly go into battle fearlessly, you know, and that was the thing. You know, I mean, like I'm sure everyone kind of went in there like, yes, Jeffrey, yes, sword, right? And then Uhtred came in there and he was like, yeah, and he was like, holy crap, man, you didn't even look me in the face, you know. And everyone's like, wow, that's a warrior. You know, that's how I think of things in the past. Now that we tell the story, you know, we like beef it up. Because
Yeah,
imagine
right.
if stories were told how they really were. God, we'd be like, stupid.
Can you imagine like
You
someone
know,
on the hillside like 300? like watching the Battle of Thermopylae take place, like sitting on the hillside. Like,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of the historically inaccurate movies ever made.
yeah, I know, but still, I mean, it still has like historical value, but you also had the battle at the sea and the sea at the same time. And like the movie series, they don't really tell the truth with it. Both those battles happen at the same time. The one in the sea that we got, the second movie, and then
second movie that explains that.
yeah.
Right.
On the second movie, though, Leonidas was dead after the fact.
Well, he dies in like the middle of that movie.
Oh, does he die in the middle?
Yeah.
I thought he died. I thought he was already dead.
He like
Yeah. It's been a while since I seen that, I
yes,
guess,
like
but-
I can't remember the dude's name. The dude with the blue fucking cape. He.
You think they were all
Yeah.
that ripped back then? I'm just asking
No.
for a friend.
No.
Well, no, I was gonna say too. I was gonna say I don't think they were that big because if you look at houses even from like the 30s, like the counters are like a foot shorter because everyone was small.
And
Yeah.
like remember what their diet was too. Like they didn't eat like people eat today. Like they were.
Get the prime.
No, they didn't have
Liver King
carbs.
diet,
Yeah.
They didn't have
Well-
carbs. They, like I could see them. I could see them being
they
somewhat
grapes,
like.
fucking,
So I could see them being in good shape to the fact that like they weren't eating a lot of carbs and stuff, and they just had meat and they were constantly on their feet. You know what I mean? I could see them not being like physically out of shape,
they weren't body.
but to be shredded with
Yeah.
like an extra 20 pounds of muscle, get the fuck out of here. People do that on 3 meals a day today and they struggle to get that meat on them.
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
I bet
Yeah.
you that on average an average size male is probably 180 pounds.
Yeah, like for me, like my mom is like 5 feet, my dad's like 5'7", but I ended up being 6'2" and over
Right.
200 pounds. By the 5th grade, I was 5'11", right? So I think genetically back then there might have been a few people like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he's going to be a warrior, and then there were other people like that they were just like you would be peasant.
Yeah.
So I think everybody like that. No, hell no. There were definitely guys that they sent into battle like he's not coming home. No. But we need him out there. We need him to tire out the big guy.
Well, Jeff, he was the best warrior, but we sent his ass anyways.
Exactly. Jeff and Patrick will be at the front of the line.
We
Right?
told them to hold the shield. They failed.
Right, exactly. And the family will end up cleaning toilets for the rest of the being. Right? Like I figure that's just how it was back then. You know what I mean? Like not everybody was like a total beast.
Yeah.
Some of these battles would last if they did it in reality, right? A whole season would be the battle because some of these battles were like 8 hours. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you look back in history and like some of the stories that were like really correctly told and like the actual stories, it's like they would take a break. They'd be like, okay, you're breathing hard. I'm breathing hard. Dude, are you hungry? I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Let's go take a break. We'll come 5 o'clock. Yeah,
Right.
we'll come back. You know what I
All
mean?
right. See you later, buddy. You get back to the battlefield. Fuck
It's-
this guy.
Exactly,
I told you
right?
at one
Well,
time.
yeah. Don't you want to fight on a full stomach? Right? I think that's how it was, I mean, I know that's how it was. The battles just took forever. You know what I mean? And then even think about like when we had the musket, people were sitting there in front of each other, like filling up the musket for like 10 minutes, just constantly filling up the musket. Like,
Hoping that you got reloaded before they did.
Yeah, we took our trip this year. Went to the Battle of Perryville, the Civil War battle. And it was like a 8-hour excursion, but it happened on just pure accident. Just
right.
there one guy we're heading south. The Sistek and I'll say like what the hell was it? Anyways, like outside like either Memphis or somewhere else. There's like another battle going on, and then the other ones are going up to head towards. I think it was Gettysburg. And
Okay.
they just like stumbled across each other. It was like a 6-hour skirmish, bloodiest battle in Kentucky history. It just happened. It just nobody. Then you want to know what happened at the end? They still marched to where they're supposed to go, and they had a school of the deaf kids clean up all the bodies. Like,
Jeez.
welcome to history.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if the TV show actually talked about how it was, you're like, oh, this is pretty lame,
Yeah,
right? You wouldn't watch it. You wouldn't
Game of
watch
Thrones
it. When
season
they
8,
beef it up.
This is really lame. Like this built up fucking war between the walking fucking Night King and the fucking people of the kingdom, and we only get one goddamn fucking episode of it. I want this fucking last whole
Yeah, but
fucking
that one
season.
was like a fucking feature length film.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Fucking
totally. I mean,
bullshit.
even like the show like The Walking Dead, it's like, okay, guys, come on.
Yeah, I can't believe that's been on TV as long as it has.
I can't.
You know,
I gave up
it
after
was
season
it was
6.
thrilling. It was thrilling when it was like, you know, I think they lost like the dynamic of things just because it was thrilling to be like, okay, wow, there's these zombies out there. This is kind of what would happen if we all had to kind of really just start, you know, rebuilding society essentially while also trying to get rid of what destroyed society, you know. And then, you know, and this is just from like you know, a perspective of, you know, someone who's like writing stories, and I think they lost track when they started bringing in different factions and all this stuff. They really should have told the story differently of like, you know, maybe that 10 years went by and now they actually have a really seriously functioning society. And now like all of a sudden the east side of the country is just storming across to the west, ready to take it over. You know, and essentially there's now a new civil war, but it's not civil war because there's not an America anymore. Right? It's just battle for the land. But why do they want the land? Because the resource of water is better on the west side of the country. So it becomes one of those things where they should have really brought that in. But what they do is like, they're like, oh my God, we're still so hopeless. We're so hopeless. Oh my God. Wait, there's people that own helicopters? What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Right. And they just kind of bring in these weird like things. And it's just, it was like, yo, you should have brought the helicopter people in a long time ago. That should have been like season 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That really would have thrown, you know, a wrench in the thing. Like, damn, like Daryl's the only one who had a fucking motorcycle.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Now there's helicopters. Like, what is this? You know, they really lost. I think they just really lost track. Not only that, the comics were over, so they kind of didn't really have anything to go off of anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
You comic
I think
guy?
that's
Get into comics?
somewhat. Yeah, somewhat. I used to
Yeah.
collect them when I was a kid.
Still kind of collect a little bit here and there, but yeah, it has to be the right book for me anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. For me to like read something, for me to like sit there and give that type of attention to something to read it, it has to be like really good.
You collect too?
Collect.
What comic books?
No, I used to. I think around like, I think before I moved out to California, I like sold all my comics.
You're like
You
Kevin
know.
Smith Jr., man. You're making all this content and selling out your comic collection.
I know, right? Yeah. No, I actually had even the one of the original Spider-Man comics that I had gotten from my grandfather, and you know, I remember selling it, and I remember selling it because I was like, you know what? It was one of those things too, where like I never thought that like they would make a fucking Spider-Man movie. You know, they struggled to make Batman movies. Like, did you ever see like the original Batman? Like he couldn't turn his head, right? He had to like turn his body because they didn't want to bend the rubber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Michael
like-
Keaton.
right? And he had to like look up like this, like he had to like, you know, and you know, he had to bend at the torso to look up. Like, come on, what are we doing? So I didn't think they were gonna have a dude flying around web, right? I never thought that Spider-Man, you know, and even like I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I went to look at the value of the comic and like the value rise and lowering or in a decrease, and around the time that I sold it, it was at its peak, and then it had decreased even further until Spider-Man came out, and people were like, "Whoa!"
See, I got Moon Knight #1 in the CGC case, and I was like, do I want to sell this? Because Moon Knight was popping, and the Marvel show came out. Like
Definitely.
everybody wanted a piece of that
Definitely.
shit. And I had the #1 copy of that comic set. I was trying to convince myself, do I sell the #1? I couldn't convince myself to do it. I thought about it long and hard. I just couldn't. I can't let go of it.
Well, that was the thing, right? That was the thing. They didn't go with the comic,
no,
and the
but
show did
still,
not do good,
but
and now they're
the
now
common
it's
nerd
canceled.
like #1 Moon Knight. I gotta have this. You can't open it up anyways because you take apart that CGC case, the hard case, it loses value immediately. So like that is
Exactly.
like that is graded and printed as it is. Period. You ain't gonna be able to open it, and this is what it is. So like
Right,
on
and that's the thing
side,
when-
it's like,
when-
I think it's a 7.5 is graded, so it's pretty high grade.
Yeah. Because the thing about stories and comics and books and all that is you have to stick with the story of the book. You have to stick with the story of the comic because that's where your core audience is going to come from, right? And Arnold Schwarzenegger had talked about this in his book when he talked about Conan, right? And he was like, the reason Conan 2 did so bad is because some other writer came in, some other director came in, and they thought it'd be a great idea to go completely off book, right? And Arnold had said, he's like, Arnold's experience with the first one is that he didn't realize how deep Conan the Barbarian Warrior went until he started doing like showings and stuff and or appearances. And people at the appearance were like, "Oh my god, like you're just what I thought Conan would be, what he would look like, that everything, right?" And the closer he got to the fans, the more he realized, wow, these are people that I didn't even know we're going to be watching the movie. I thought it was just going to be some dude hopping out of his, Corvette in California being like, I'm going to go watch this crazy dude slice people up with a sword, right? And he didn't realize there was like this Dungeons and Dragons type of fan base. And when he saw that they were going away from that in the second one, he just knew it was going to be a flop. And that's why he asked for even more on it. So, when the Moon one did that, I heard like that they weren't going to do any of the comic story, and I was like, it's not going to do good because they're not going to have that core fan base that shows up regardless of how good or bad the show is. They want to see what they've been reading in a book.
Yeah, I thought the show was amazing personally. I thought Moon Knight killed it.
It's one of their better ones.
They're introducing that character, Mark Spector character. I think that they did a really good job with it.
Just with it's more the character than the story because people have been wanting him to show up on TV for years.
I feel like though, if you're gonna do like a TV series or like having like one season to dedicate to like meeting Mark Spector and knowing like what, and like knowing like okay, this gets like great fan base already. Then now we can tell the stories of the comics after the fact, which are kind of which I think they're doing better now with like they're using like these offshoot shows like Hawkeye, which did follow a certain comic. The Hawkeye, the Disney show followed the comic spot on, and they actually integrated Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man movie. Like it was the newest Spider-Man movie.
Oh, No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home.
No Way Home.
They featured the scene with him shooting the web over top the ice skating rink at the same time a Hawkeye is fighting with his sidekick.
No,
that was in there. If you go back and watch the show, you can see Spider-Man going over top.
Then they changed it because it wasn't like that originally.
Oh yeah, they must have changed it. It's the way it is now. Yeah,
they do that too. I just figured that out too. They'll go back and they'll pick like certain things on certain episodes of certain shows, and they'll redo something or they'll like rework it and then they'll put it back in. Like,
okay. Yeah,
because I know when I watched that Hawkeye show that they were talking about that specific.
I think the biggest problem that people have right now is, and it's like you were saying, they should have told a story like this. They should have introduced a story like this. Is that as somebody who's writing stories, they're only giving these writers 6 episodes to tell a story.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you write something that's interesting enough for the already current audience and to gain a new audience, the audience that's paying for a subscription, right? You can't do it in 6 episodes. A lot of people have been complaining that Disney their 6 episode like situation is not to do it. Not only that, they don't release it all at once. So you wait 6 weeks for just what? Nothing.
Yeah, an average TV show.
Exactly. And it's like, like people feel unfulfilled. And if you leave people feeling unfulfilled, they're not going to try to like go watch it again.
No.
Not only that, it doesn't stay with them long enough to when they get to the second season that they're like, wait, I remember everything from the first season.
Yep.
So I know that's been a big complaint is that their seasons are just way too short. Like way too short.
You get into The Boys at all? Speaking of comics and stuff, were you a fan
Definitely.
of The Boys? Oh,
yeah,
man,
definitely.
what a fucking season this
I
last
haven't
season
watched
was.
the 3rd season yet.
Oh,
so
man,
third
season is amazing.
I think the thing that first like caught me was when he ran through the girlfriend. First opening scene. I was like, okay. I was like, cause let's be real, we never think about that. like you're running fast, but like, are you seeing everything slow? And if somebody does just accidentally, like, you see them and you're like, oh, they're just standing on the curb. But when they take that one step back, you
Right.
know, are you blasting right through them? Do you break anything? Like, does it hurt you? And if it doesn't, like, you know,
Definitely.
how
Fuck
do
up.
you like replace that? You know what I mean? Like, do you keep it on the wraps? Do you not let anyone know that you just killed this innocent person on the side of the road, running away while doing something that wasn't really heroic?
Right.
You know, I think it was really interesting dynamic, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna like the show. You know, I always love a different perspective.
I just
Like for
like
me,
how-
I try to put a different perspective on Call of Duty. I love shows that put like a different perspective on things.
So you do that. You make Call of Duty like that. You make Call of Duty like your little your content you put out is like a show. It's a short show.
Right.
You're telling a story inside of it. It's always phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah. And yeah, and even like right now I am you know, and I try to write it at least like 2 times a week. Like last week I got like 3 different times in that I'm actually writing like a whole trilogy myself
Nice.
of books. So it's that one is a lot is a lot more difficult. And the thing about reading is I always fall asleep. So it's hard for me to write something that much because you have to keep reading over it. And I get really, for some reason, I'll drink 10 gallons of coffee and read like 5 paragraphs and I'm just ready to doze off. I don't know what it is about me. But I'm very excited about, you know, what I'm writing, and I hope to be releasing it within a year. And you know, that's like people ask me like, why the ski mask and why this? And I'm like, oh, it's a whole entire character.
You ever
It's a
call
whole
gear?
sci-fi.
You ever call it gear for yourself? Like
Call what?
shirt. You ever call it like shirts and you make your own custom ski mask for people to buy?
Yeah, no, I already have stuff designed. I do all my own Photoshop stuff. Everything that you see in my videos, I do everything myself. I'm a one-man team over here. I've designed some designs for ski masks, designs for shirts, stuff that I want to eventually release. And I'm just waiting until I hit certain numbers on certain platforms. Like Facebook is one platform that definitely somebody that I've been talking to hopefully get to manage me. They were saying that, you know, once you reach a certain amount of numbers on Facebook, people on Facebook are more likely to, you know, say like, hey, let me buy that, you know, because I wouldn't want to like make something that people just really wouldn't be, you know, interested in getting, because I have to focus my time in so many other places. But yeah, I mean, now that you're even asking, like, yeah, definitely. I really hope to. I want to have shirts with like Gam on it.
First, and I'd like to have a shirt. You know what I mean? That'd be sweet.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to have like, you know, some of the shirt designs I have like, you know, Gam or like Gam holding me as a baby and stuff like that. Just funny shirts that are also going to get people to come up to me and be like, what is that all about? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm excited for the future.
We're excited for you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Before we let you go, thanks again for coming on. You're welcome anytime you want. This has been a great conversation. So
yeah, no,
it's been an absolute blast meeting you, Ski Mask. So
hey, you know, pleasure goes both ways. Both of you guys, great
Hell yeah.
guys.
All right, everybody, Ski Mask. There it is.
All right, thank you.
Have a great rest of your night, brother.
Hey, you too. Thank you.
Yep. That was I Am Ski Mask.
Yes, it was.
Absolute legend of a human, dude.
Yeah.
Absolute legend of a human. So as we promised, House of Dragon, dude.
Yeah, I've been excited about this. I watched the first episode and it was like day one fucking all over again.
Oh man, I loved it. See, you remember like me before, you know, Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
I was always looking at lore-ish stuff. I told myself this season, not doing it. Just let the show ride out, because I know if I go back into history, I'm going to spoil the whole fucking thing for myself. I'm going to call it out. So I cannot wait for the rest of this to come out. First season dropped on Sunday.
Well, the first episode.
Yeah, first.
They're doing it. They're running it how they did the other one every Sunday. Whatever.
Yeah. Wow, it was a fantastic show. That was first episode.
Yeah, I mean, it really set the tone.
I loved how, like, when they made her, you know, the heir, how they had all the people line up
Oh
And,
yeah,
like-
because I mean it's
and the shout outs to the past. You know,
Yep.
the last names from the past that we learned from Game of Thrones. So Don Darren, like you hear like
Rickon
Lord,
Stark
Rickon
and-
Stark.
I can't remember the Baratheon dude's name. The one
Yeah.
that he was like, I don't know about this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, then there's so many. What's your names? What's your names? Be great grandfather. Great great grandfather.
What?
Remember the one Tormund is always hitting on?
Brienne of Tarth?
Yeah, so Tarth was in that. They had a snippet of Tarth.
Okay,
And all the flags, dude, of like all the great houses
Yep.
back then. And you kind of like think to yourself, like, man, we didn't get to see all these last time. Like all the great. Because what we got before was the Wolf, we got the Lannister, we got like
yeah.
we only
There's
got
there's
so-
houses. I mean, this is 172 years
Yeah.
before the
yeah. So we
events.
got like Runestone mentioned a lot. And
yeah.
then-
There's houses that have been wiped out, and from the time that this show takes place to the first series that you never see, or you if you only watch the show you never
Yeah.
even know about.
So Harrenhal, seeing a live Harrenhal besides just a ruin of Harrenhal,
Right,
that
yeah.
was sweet.
That's what I've been watching a lot of videos on it, and that's what a lot of people have been saying that they were so excited to see Harrenhal,
Oh, man.
as it was, not as it was in the original show.
Because
21
even like in the Game of Thrones conquest game, like it was just like you can get Harrenhal, but it just like it looks like a fucking dumpster fire on the map. Like
Right.
it's like a ruin of what it was.
Yeah, the dragons are gonna be sick. There's 21 dragons in the show,
Badass. It's a lot of dragons.
and I was confused for the longest time because I thought that this was going to be like an adaptation of the whole Blackfire Rebellion deal.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's not. No, it's a whole
Yep.
different story.
It's a whole different.
The
story.
Blackfire Rebellion was like 50 years in the future of that.
Yes, I think. Anyways,
So I
Yeah,
hope I
it
hope
was.
these show series. I hope they don't do like two seasons of this. I hope it's one season of this, and they're working on another prequel. I hope they just keep on making prequels.
there's what did the one guy told or didn't tell me. He said on his video.
He told you. You listened to the
Yeah, he told me on the video that there's 8 different spin-off projects in production, or like they're working on 8 different projects related to Game of Thrones at HBO.
So I hope we get the Blackfire Rebellion. I hope that's next. Tale of Dunk, or actually, because they could do 2 within each other. They could do the Tale of Dunk and Egg inside
I don't think
the Blackfire
I don't.
Rebellion.
What I've been hearing about the Dunk and Egg thing is it's not really all that interesting.
Yeah, like I'd say, listen to the storybook. I found it really interesting.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not. I guess I don't know much about it besides what I've been hearing in the videos today, and a lot of people have been saying that it's. I don't know if that'd be a good one for a TV series.
I feel like if they did like a short series with that, because you can always keep those characters and spin them into the Blackfire Rebellion too, like
Right.
Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah.
I feel like you get to meet these characters before the show. Like you just do like a spin off of both, like their intimate relationship, being like best friends too, going
Yeah.
across the world.
And what I also didn't realize about this show is that it takes place over decades.
Oh, this show
this first episode, you see everybody in their younger years. Like then they messed with the ages a little bit from the book too. Like they aged everybody up a little bit, and I think they aged everybody up. So like in the start of the Great Council in 101, in the book, Viserys is like 24, and the whole deal is they were deciding between Viserys and I can't remember the kid's name, but in the book he's like 7 years old.
Yeah,
It'd be Rhaenys Valerian and Corlys Valerian's kid.
Yep.
Who is technically the rightful heir through his mother, but this is a big thing in the show is the world doesn't want a woman on the throne, which causes like the one quote in the trailer, the lady literally says that they'll light the world on fire before they have a woman on the throne.
yeah. I'm really excited, man. I think this reaching back to these like critical points of history and then this whole lore filled, because Game of Thrones gave us so much lore, and we went back in time a little, not a lot, just a little bit with Bran.
Yeah, right.
I wish we had.
Well, I mean, they did go back fucking pretty far with the.
No, yeah, but that was a whole different. That was a storyline that they threw out apparently. So
Well,
the long night.
right. They went all the way back to when they made him, I guess. But yeah, I'm really excited. It really brought me back to when I first started watching it.
It brought back the love and excitement of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think they finally realized that they like.
They acknowledge they fucked up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like they know that they messed up big time with season 7 and 8. I mean, not so much even season 7 was great. Season 8 was the one that really brought the average down.
Yeah, like speaking of like other shows and movies, Star Wars trademarked 3 new names for the next trilogy recently.
Oh, they're making another trilogy series.
Whole new, yeah. It's not gonna be the people who fucked up Game of Thrones. It's gonna be somebody else, and he already patented 3 certain names.
I think they're. If I'm correct, I might be wrong, but I want to say that they were. It's going to be like High Republic. I think is that right?
I think it's gonna
They're
be.
like they're doing some work with the timeline on that one too. Like they're playing like they're shortening it up. I guess they're not going to go back thousands of years. They're just going to use that story and move it to like a couple hundred years before.
I think they're just trying to make more. They're trying to give a timeline. Then they're going to do the same thing when they're doing like Mandalorian and stuff. They're going to flip everything back to that time and give spin-off shows. From that time period.
Yeah. Star Wars, I think, is in a pretty good place.
Obi-Wan was fantastic.
I still haven't watched it.
It was. So I know what your thoughts on Obi-Wan, but
I mean, I have no doubt that the show is great.
oh man, it's just like there's like little things. And you haven't seen it yet, but obviously you kind of know how it's.
I know pretty much what happens.
But like, there's like a certain scene, and it's not even like the last episode, but it's like Obi-Wan wanted nothing to do with any of this. Like he just wanted to be done. He wanted to be Ben Kenobi looking over Luke, just making sure he goes in the right path.
Right.
He didn't want to be what he had to be. He wanted this to be left alone.
Yep.
He's like, we lost. We're done.
Right. We got beat.
Yeah, we got beat. We're done. I don't want because there's a young Jedi because that's kind of the basis of the show. Like these Jedi killers basically. They go out and find
the Inquisitors. They're in the game. They're in the Fallen Order game. So I mean, I know. So
like the Inquisitors, man, they're on the planet, and with Obi-Wan's lost hope, they can't detect him. He doesn't have his force anymore, basically.
Right.
So you see like this skirmish of him as a person through his like progression of like getting back to having force, to having this sense of like, if I don't do something now, something's fucked up. Something
it's
bad.
Like one of them things like he has a responsibility.
Yeah.
To like he can't just like who else is gonna do it?
Yeah. So like the last episode, I'm sure you've seen it online.
Yeah.
It was all over. But you get that scene where Obi-Wan's like still trying to apologize to Anakin. Like, I failed you. Like, this is my fault. I failed you. And you get that infamous line, I think it's to live on through history of Star Wars, is you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. And just like you see this look, McGregor played it perfectly. The look on his face is like, because he already has it beat up. The fight's basically, if he wanted to finish him, he could.
Right.
But you look, he has that look on his face, like, all right, well, if Anakin's not here, have a great life. If he just walks away.
Right.
And just like, whew, that was heavy as fuck. Like that was like that Obi-Wan series, man. That hit me home. The next series coming though, it's also a prequel.
Is that the Andor one?
No, Lord of the Rings.
Their
upcoming season. One. Andor looks incredible though too. I cannot wait. Just the drum line in that thing, like
I
hitting the shit.
No
I love it.
What that's even about?
It's going to be a prequel before Rogue One.
Oh, because the actor guy from the movie's coming back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like the lead up before Rogue One.
See, I just don't. This is what
Rogue One was made in the Rogue One movie was better than the trilogy.
Oh yeah,
the newest.
But
trilogy.
It's just what are we doing with these we already know what happens here.
I think
like,
we're like for me, like we're just in that. Like, I'm one of these people. I like the TV content, but like I am a fan.
I just
I want to know everything.
Something like that's why to me like the Mandalorian.
No, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's something new
Book
that
of Fett too.
that you never knew about.
Yeah.
Like they just keep making this shit that goes back to stories that we've already know. Like we know what happens. They get the plans, they blow the fucker up. You know, and then like why are we still trying to make stories that go to a point that
I think
we've
it's just like
seen?
character attachment. I think is a big one. Like, you know, I like the character Obi-Wan, man. I think
Right.
I like even more so now than I did before because like
I just think that in the lore of Star Wars, there's more interesting characters.
I think we're getting there. I think after this next trilogy that they just patented, if everything goes through,
I mean, like you look at the stories, like how many characters there are. There's like Darth Bane and Darth fucking
there's even
Plagueis and like,
there's even like a
Revan and Nihilus and all these fucking.
So before, like, there's even stories like inside of what we know. There's Apprentice in between. There was an Apprentice in between Maul and what's his name?
Anakin?
No, Maul and what the hell is his name? The old guy, Dooku.
Oh,
And that was there's like a storyline that they touch on in like some sort of I forgot what I watched on YouTube basically,
Mhm.
but this is actually a true story. He was best friends with Obi-Wan before he left
Right.
and went to the Sith, and that's why Obi-Wan was so numb to the dark side and all that stuff because like he lost his best friend twice to the dark side.
Mhm.
And I think that's, and then they kind of touch on like how he just like walked away from Vader, just like, whatever, fuck you, just like, all right, Darth, have a great life.
Well,
Because he didn't want to go through this path again where he had to kill his best friend.
Right, and it's also like the another good story. I know it's sad for me because it kills my favorite character, but in Rebels when Obi-Wan, him and Maul finally meet again.
Yep.
And fucking Obi-Wan one-shots him, and then just
there's end of story.
End of story, like that.
I think we need a Maul series though, like after Fall Maul, because he's out there. They gave us the snippet of him still being alive
after the fight.
Yeah.
What?
So the Han Solo movie, that is after the events of after the events of episode 1 when he's already dead. So it's after the original trilogy, Solo is out there, so he's still alive in Solo.
Oh, at that point, yeah.
But
I mean, that's another story that it goes to a point where you meet up with Obi-Wan again and you're dead for good.
Yeah, but I feel like as fans, we're gonna get an Obi-Wan series. I think we should get a Maul series, like the events of Maul.
Oh, they really turned his character up. I mean, they went from a character who like legitimately was when that movie came out, the first one. I mean, I painted a fucking picture of his face.
Yeah, he is. I think that he's
and he
beloved.
had like, it was, you could count on like one hand how many lines of dialogue he said in that whole movie. And the guy that played him in the movie didn't even voice the lines.
No,
they had somebody dub over him.
You ever see the story of Vader? How they had a Scottish guy play Darth Vader?
Yeah, they had a big, tall white guy.
Yeah, and they had him do the voice through the helmet. And they're like, "This is dog shit." It's like, call up James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Like, could you just like give us a snippet? Because he was actually supposed to be cast in the movie somewhere, anyways.
Well, I think the deal is that he thought that he was gonna be in the costume. I don't think he was tall enough.
Yeah, they filmed the whole movie,
right,
with this white guy voicing everything, and they're like, "We cannot release this. He doesn't sound menacing." Because the character who played Obi-Wan Kenobi Obi-Wan Kenobi in those movies actually had a deeper voice than he did.
Right.
So like we cannot have the guy who fights have a more menacing voice than
Right, and then I think the only lines that the guy ever like actually says is the ones when his mask is off right before he dies. Yeah, that's what else is on the TV.
So you keep on kicking around new Ghostbusters movie coming out.
Another one?
So the
I
kid,
haven't
the one,
watched
like the one,
Afterlife yet.
oh, it's so good. That's like,
I scrolled over it. The
do
other day and
yourself
I
a
was like,
favor. Do yourself a favor. Watch Afterlife.
I-
It's really good.
I've heard it's really, really good.
A lot of right. They sent off Harold Ramis the right way, man. That's
I mean, anything with Paul Rudd, man, I'm in.
no, he was fantastic in the movie too.
He's
But
Really?
the kids in that movie really took it away,
Yeah.
and then like the subtle nods to Egon.
mhm.
And I'm still kicking around Egon tattoo, by the way. I'm still kicking around my tattoos right now. I told myself I hit 30, I'm gonna get a tattoo. So I'm kicking around a couple ideas.
Did you watch Peacemaker on HBO?
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole season of it,
I watched
which
one
I
episode.
wanted to get more into it because what's his name obviously directed it, Seth Rogen.
What?
Seth Rogen directed that.
He
Peacemaker,
did?
Yeah. I really want to get more into that because that was like his before he started doing The Boys. That was like his first directing gig.
What?
Peacemaker.
No, Peacemaker is like the TV show.
Yeah. No,
You're thinking of something else.
I didn't think of something else.
I was like, there's no way Seth Rogen directed Peacemaker.
No, he directed the Priest show, the
Oh, Preacher.
Preacher. Yeah, he directed Preacher.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what he did. Peacemaker, Preacher. Put the same thing in my head.
yeah. It's,
I couldn't get. I don't know. It's something. That's what happens. Like, yeah, there's not a lot on TV, but there's still like enough on TV. You're like, I wish I could. I really want to sit down and watch that, but I gotta.
I
Like
get
for me right now is like,
I get into like a thing like I will sit there and I'll scroll through fucking the entire library of Netflix and I'll be like, I know there's good shows on here, but I'm like, I don't want to.
commit to something. Right
I don't
now.
want to commit to a show that I'm gonna be like, this is stupid, and I
Yeah.
just wasted my time.
And it's like, I'm gonna sit down and watch this, but like in 2 hours, we'll turn to Game of Thrones anyways, or House of Dragon.
Or, right,
anyways.
or like me, like I'm just I'm gonna watch 2 episodes and I'm just gonna turn on fucking Godzilla.
That's how.
vs. Kong
That's all. That's all. The
for the 100th
Last
time.
Kingdom show was for me because I was watching that. I
I-
started watching that during Game of Thrones.
I
When I was
wanted to
watching the
turn
last
on.
season of Game of Thrones, I was just like, I got 2 episodes in, and I was like, all right, I got to rewatch last week's episode, and I got to watch this week's episode of Game of Thrones. It's like I lost
Right.
interest because I was doing that. And then, like now, like I want to get into other shows, but right now I'm watching Reservation Dogs, and
Oh man,
which I love.
I love that show.
And then, What We Do in the Shadows, my fucking absolute favorite show on
I
TV
still
right
haven't
now.
watched that one.
It's an amazing show. And then, I Naked and Afraid, and I have to get that in every week. I do. I love that show, man. They're doing the 21 or 14 days in like northern Montana in the wintertime right now. It's really interesting.
Are they trying to kill people for real?
Yeah.
Because that's how you do it. You
Yeah,
put
it's-
naked people in fucking Montana in November. That's how
Yeah,
you kill
high
them.
altitude in the wintertime. Like
Were they gonna give them socks at least, or they just
They
gonna
gave 'em-
get
they gave 'em
fucking frostbite?
fur pelts. About it. No socks, fur pelts. They're out there barefoot doing that.
The- what?
Yeah, so like that. If they want boots, you gotta make them out of what you get out of your. They give every single one person one pelt, and you gotta then you can craft every one out of it.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's
Like it's bad enough when you put people like in the jungle where like literally
yeah. They
everything-
did people
literally every creature in the jungle wants to fucking
Yeah,
eat
so
you.
they did the last XL challenge, and that was 60 days in the Amazon.
and I bet you none of them made it.
Half of them fell out right away, and the other half made it. It's actually because
I mean, I would rather 100%. I would rather fucking starve to death in the snow in Montana than be put in the fucking.
see that's like the
Amazon
ultimate
jungle.
test. That's like the ultimate test though, because like heat sucks. Like you can't
Well, it's
get
like
cool.
it's like stifling heat.
Yeah,
and
that's-
humidity and
The real
everything's
humidity.
wet.
Yeah.
And fucking like you walking through a jungle that like you literally can't see through.
Yeah, then you got the
There's
factor
fucking
of like
snakes and spiders.
well, because like
and fucking-
21 days, they do like a 21-day challenge. Like 21 days, you can kind of limp.
That's
You can
3
kind of
weeks.
you can like limp yourself to like start. You can like
No,
like a little victory. Like yeah, I'm getting water. I'm getting water. I'm not getting any food. So you got kind of divert yourself that
every
way.
night you're getting fucking ripped up by bugs.
Yeah. But like 60 days, it's a whole fucking new ball game. Like you gotta like learn how to like if you ain't good at it, you're done. Like it's
I don't know. I would definitely do like I'm not saying I'd probably die, but I would rather do the fucking snow one than the jungle one.
what we're built. Well, I'm not saying we're built for, but I think like we're more accustomed. Like not so much like the primitive survival skills, but like I think we know like, all right, fucking wind, fuck this shit, build a wall. You know, it's
Right. Or like I gotta
like
definitely find,
we have an idea what winter is.
I
You know
gotta
what I mean?
find water, like get water somehow and fucking probably find something to eat. But in the winter, fucking you're kind of fucked because you gotta kill something.
Yeah,
Because there won't be anything you can just pick up off the ground.
yeah, and I gotta kill it, and I gotta get it back. Otherwise, the rigor mortis is to be sped up because of the freezing.
Right. And then I gotta clean it. You know, I gotta field dress it, clean
Yeah.
it, and fucking skin it, and
Yeah, the show. I like those shows. Actually, I wanted to get somebody from the show on our show, and I haven't got a response
fucking
yet.
Bear Grylls.
No, I forgot who I messaged. Actually, I can't remember his name, but I hope. Yeah, that'd be cool to get him through. I like to learn more about that, like with the daily, because we only get like a snippet. Like we get like the 21-day challenge. We only get like a snippet of their day.
I would assume it's a lot of fucking walking around.
Yeah. Well, still, I mean, that'd be interesting.
And then if you're not walking around, you're probably fucking sitting down. Just
it's like, yeah, what am I gonna do in my day today?
right.
I really don't have the energy to do this or this or this or this.
like literally don't like I just don't physically have it in me
No.
to do anything because I'm dying.
I like what's his name? The one guy, Steven, in the 60s. He's like losing teeth. Just like
Like, teeth are falling on his head.
yeah, he lost like 2 teeth during the process. of the
What?
show. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that show's nuts. But yeah, it's going on 2 hours here. Yeah, hour.
Yeah, we
51
did
minutes.
another good one.
Long one. Yeah, it was. We had. Yeah, if you're just tuning in now, we just had I Am Ski Mask about 20 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Fantastic guy. I actually want to get him back on the show too because I feel like we could just like spew shit all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get on the Warzone with you guys.
So if you guys want to, you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Facebook. All the same, Pierce Steel Podcast. I think we're gonna try to do the show next week. I should have some free time.
Yeah, I'm good.
But your schedule's all opened up now.
Mhm.
Trying to work on a guest. I messaged him. He gave me a thumbs up. So maybe hopefully I can get him next week.
Oh,
So keep your ears on. Stay tuned. We got more for you. And as always, we are Pierce Steel.
and sex appeal.
Thanks again for listening. Hey, and one more thing. Follow Ski Mask on everything listed: Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, everything. Follow IM_Ski Match. I'll pop it up one more time here. It's Lord Bot, and I Am Ski Mask is his name. So make sure to follow him. He's great content. If you like watching snippet, funny videos, perfect place to find it for him. Just find it right there. And yeah, again, it's all I got. So yeah. Stay busy, get on your socials, follow both of us, and make sure to tell someone you love them.